On this week's show, student council elections heat up, Lawrentians march on Washington against gun violence, and span the globe on Harkness travel trips. Plus, a profile of second former track standout William Murray. Lawrenceville's 10-minute newscast begins right now.
From the studios inside the Lawrenceville School's historic Pop Hall, this is L10 with Aidan Duffy.
Hello and welcome to this week's show. On Monday, fourth formers convened in the Kirby Arts Center for the preliminary round of presidential speeches for next year's student council. Candidates Trevor White, Cameron Dano, Kat Tuckshare, Matt McChesney, Andrew Nee, Jacob Schiller, and Guntram Weisenberg presented their platforms. Following yesterday's voting results, candidates Andrew Nee and Trevor White will be moving on to the all-school election. Prospective students from around the world arrived on campus this Wednesday for the first of 3 Revisit Days. Revisit Days give accepted students an opportunity to experience life as a Lawrenceville student. They also give parents a chance to meet Lawrenceville students, faculty, and staff. Last Thursday, Lawrenceville announced a $17 million gift from the Audrey and Martin Gruss Foundation to fund an expansion of the Gruss Center of Visual Arts. The expanded center, to be renamed the Gruss Center for Art and Design, will feature a creative design center and a makerspace. Mr. Gruss, a member of the Lawrenceville class of 1960, is a trustee emeritus of the school. Congratulations to third formers Nikhil Ajarapu, Anika Bagaria, Pranil Chakraborty, Alyssa Chow, Jax Floyd, Maximo Mulgot, Ashley Tay, Andrew Tokarski, Elaine Wang, and Eric Zhu, who have been named Hutchins Scholars for 2018. Designed to recognize and enrich some of Lawrenceville's most outstanding science students, the Hutchins Scholars Program provides scholars with meaningful research opportunities to prepare them for top university science programs. The Hutchins Program is made possible by a $5 million gift from Glenn Hutchins, Lawrenceville class of 1973, and his wife, Debbie. The 2018 Capstone Lecture Series kicked off on Monday evening with a talk on why privacy matters by University of Pennsylvania professor Anita Allen. Professor Allen talked about the ethical and political underpinnings of privacy, framing questions about privacy that will be explored throughout the series. The 2018-2019 Student Council elections are underway. This year, changes to positions and procedures seek to transform election transparency and participation. Senior news correspondent Makayla Boxley talks with current student body president Brianna Thompson, vice president of academics Eric Chang, and assistant dean of students Emily Kossoff to bring you this report.
The 2018-2019 Student Council election cycle began on February 23rd with a panel discussion. On March 20th, fourth formers attended the first presidential debate, which was followed on March 26th by presidential speeches where the candidates outlined their platforms. Eric Chang and Bree Thompson shared their thoughts on the changes made to this year's election protocol.
So for every position, the president and the vice presidents, that is, we added at least 1 debate. For the presidents, it will be 2. And we've also added in L10 to be recording all of these functions as they occur in the election. So we want to make sure that even if the students didn't attend or they want to rewatch the event, they'll have the opportunity to do so. And all of these events and additional layers of the election were added with the intent of giving the electorate, the student body that is, the voters, a better chance to view their candidates and see them in more context, not just in the past where we only had 2 brief school meeting appearances. And that's not really, in our opinion, enough to get to know who you're going to be led by in the next year.
Post-mid-year, we've really just tried to work on initiating our ideas in a real way. So I mean, less just talking about it and then doing it on the fly the night before, and more long-term planning. And I think that, like with the interest forms that we sent out to the fourth form regarding who was interested in taking a position long before, and also kind of resending the forms with information on like what the topics for the Q&A and the debates would be, I think that has really allowed the process to be what we envisioned it as, because we've just really put in the behind-the-scenes work to ensure that like the candidates can be held accountable for what they say in their platforms, but also be able to present themselves, like Eric was saying, in the best light and get used to what it's like to run for a position like this and understand the seriousness of the job that they're going to be undertaking or attempt to undertake.
Assistant Dean of Students, Emily Kossoff, offering a different perspective, shared her thoughts on the new process and the changing role of president.
So you see as students the school president at school meeting every Thursday, and you see the school president perhaps at other functions like our Veterans Day or the memorial for the Parkland students. But the school president really serves as the liaison between the administration and the student body. And I think that both the president and the student council as a whole is really there to set the tone, set the culture, and try and make this an even better place than it already is.
Thank you, Makayla. On Saturday, students, teachers, and administrators traveled to Washington, D.C. for the March for Our Lives. Head of video editing Carolyn King was there and filed this report.
Thank you, Aidan. I'm here in Washington, D.C. for the March for Our Lives, where hundreds of thousands of students, teachers, and their allies are gathered to remember the victims of mass shootings and demand an end to gun violence.
We woke up today at 6 a.m. Ready to go on our march for today. So we're all here today on the bus. Everyone was sleeping in the morning, getting ready to march with full energy and full spirit for a cause that we all believe in. And we made posters yesterday that we're ready to show.
I actually got interviewed before we had to walk up by ABC news station on live TV, which was really cool. It was really empowering to be able to know that, like, right off the bat, your voice is being heard here.
So basically, I just thought it was like really important to come march today because I believe that you should always stand up for people when they can't stand up for themselves, and I think a lot of people are okay with like standing by and just letting things be the way they've always been, but I think like our generation just has like an obligation to make a change.
Zach Oldenburg from Parkland, and you know, really the main reason why I came to march today was for the 17 that they don't have a voice anymore. It was really important for me to be here for them, for my home, for my family, my friends. When Emma got up there and she stood there for 4.5 minutes in silence, or because she already spoke for the minute for the 6 minutes and 20 seconds, like that was unbelievable. Like I've never experienced anything like that.
I think it really like spoke to me. I don't know.
It was so inspiring to see all of those students up there, like especially that 11-year-old just speaking their mind and like giving
11
voice
years
to
old.
the people. Like I would have never been able to do that, and the way the crowd rallied around them, and
everyone was so supportive. It was just such a great place to be.
It doesn't end today. One big thing they were trying to emphasize today is making sure everyone's registered to vote, and that's something that's really critical.
Students are here, we're not going anywhere, and we're ready to change the world.
Yeah. Ready? 1, 2, 3,
never again!
Thank you, Carolyn. Bolivia, Brazil, Central Europe, Ecuador, Greece, and Nepal. All places Lawrentians visited over spring break as part of the Harkness Travel Program. L10 was in Nepal, Greece, and Brazil to bring you this overview.
I think the Harkness Travel Program is an experience, or the opportunity for experience, for our students to travel, see many parts of our own country or the world, to experience different cultures, to learn our campus disciplines or co-curriculars in real places, doing real things on the ground, hands-on, experientially, in a way that's going to be much more profoundly transformational.
The Greece program, led by Math Department Mr. Ferguson, the goal was to look at math and philosophy in Greece, and to try to look at mathematical principles that were present in the architecture and building throughout the ancient world.
Brazil was sort of a cultural exploration, both looking at the history of Brazil and contemporary Brazil. So they had an opportunity to see one of the world's largest, both in terms of population and landmass countries, one of the globe's largest and most growing economic forces, and particularly in South America. Nepal was designed as a comparative religions program and an outdoor program. We explored Kathmandu and Pokhara and regions around there in terms of religious sites, but then we also got to go on the Poon Hill trek, which is in the Annapurna Range, and spent the majority of our time trekking on our own journey of exploration through the mountains of Nepal.
Finally tonight, second former William Murray is already emerging as a key member of Big Red Track. Correspondent Matt Manahan caught up with him for this profile.
In the world of Big Red Track, second former William Murray has made quite a name for himself.
I think it's been a fantastic experience for the student athletes on the connected to the track and field program here at Lawrenceville and the coaching staff to get to know William Murray.
Today I talked with Will about his background, achievements, and goals, as well as how he deals with the pressure to succeed. With the help of his teammates and coaches, Will is well on his way on making Lawrenceville track history.
So Will, obviously you had a lot of success this season. What accomplishment are you most proud of?
I think my most proud accomplishment throughout the indoor season was going to Yale and Easterns and New Balance Nationals with the whole team. I had a really great time just like hanging out on the bus and like driving from place to place and then getting takeout and stuff after events.
I think William's level of dedication is truly inspiring for the other athletes on the team. He puts a lot into all the workouts, and without question that effort really paid off for William at the New Balance Nationals a few weeks ago.
This is my first season doing track. When I came here, I originally thought that I was just going to be playing soccer, but then when I got into track, I realized that it's something that I enjoy and that I wanted to be a part of. I received the Indoor Track Most Valuable Newcomer, which I was super psyched about, and I think, like, just speaking to that award, I think that wouldn't have been possible for me to receive without the support of basically everyone on the team, especially Dr. Chappitt. The one that I'm most proud of was definitely New Balance Nationals, and I have the bid, and then I also have the medal, which was something that I worked really, really hard for, and that was a very high point in my indoor track season. I didn't feel pressure as much as I just felt support to like show up to the standards that were set upon me, and I think that the high expectations that Dr. Chappitt had of me were just a motivator for me and just pushed me to work harder.
Over the last 6 months, he's truly brought an absolute level of dedication to everything that we do.
I'm actually glad that he has those expectations, because without those expectations and without that support, I don't think I would have the awards that I do and be where I am right now.
From L10 News, I'm Matt Manahan.
That is our broadcast for this Friday night, March 30th, 2018. From all of us here at L10, thank you for watching, and good night.